I am Detective Jill Sallee, and I've been in the Child Crisis Unit for approximately 3.5 years.
Officer Jill Sallee is one of 6 child crisis detectives on the Tulsa Police Department.
We get approximately 1,100 to 1,200 cases a year, and not all of those will be investigated depending on the circumstances.
The cases the unit handles are some of the hardest to hear.
A child crisis detective, we're not just looking at minor scratches, we're looking at broken bones, brain bleeds, children who have either overdosed on fentanyl because of a parent's use, methamphetamine, cocaine in their system, have been born with those drugs in their system and then subsequently die. We're looking at people who murder their children. So we work the homicides against children when a person responsible for care is involved.
She served in the Army National Guard as a helicopter crew chief and the Air National Guard working as a journalist in public affairs. She later worked in advertising and marketing before joining Tulsa Police 7 years ago. Now, her passion is helping children.
Because even though we know that these evil things happen to children, we're in a position to bring justice to the families and at least bring closure, because we can't correct what had already been done to a child. We're pretty reactive at this stage when we're investigating a crime against a child, but hopefully we can prevent that person who did that from doing it to another child.
Lieutenant Jeannie Pierce oversees the unit. She's a third-generation female police officer, following in her mom and her grandmother's footsteps.
I always said I never was going to be a police officer growing up. My mom and dad were both Tulsa police officers.
She started her career as a teacher, then joined Tulsa Police almost 20 years ago, working on patrol, in child crisis, and communications before becoming a supervisor. As a mom of 3, she's also passionate about helping kids.
As a parent, I know what it means to love your children. And I want any child that I deal with and I work with to feel the same love that my children feel. So it does drive me to make sure that these cases are done right and that we're helping these kids through one of the worst moments of their lives.
The unit investigates cases involving child sexual abuse for 13 and under, child physical abuse, neglect, and deaths.
I think the worst thing that I've seen on the department as a whole was the last case that just wrapped up that Detective Maker was the lead investigator on, and it was pretty much all hands on deck. It was the no body homicide involving Orlando Hugger, a 10-year-old who'd been abused, tortured, neglected, and murdered by his stepdad.
The trial is underway for John Miles III. He and his girlfriend, Camille Lewis, are charged with murder in the 2021 death of Lewis's son you see here, Orlando Hugger Jr.
They disposed of his body in a pretty shocking and heinous way, with very little regard for him and the siblings who were also traumatized and involved in that incident. And fortunately, we went to court and we got justice, because we'll never be able to correct what happened to him or his sister. We all got to be a part of something that was the worst. It was good to have a conclusion and bring that case to its, I guess, final resting place for the family.
News on 6's Reagan Ledbetter was in the courtroom today for that sentencing. Reagan.
Lori, the judge, said he's been doing this for 25 years, but the horrific details in this case left him shocked and appalled at a level he's never been before. The jury recommended 7 life sentences plus 55 years for Miles, and the judge ruled today those will all run back to back.
The Child Crisis Unit is housed within the Child Advocacy Network.
The biggest benefit of working here is that the children aren't traumatized over and over again. It's a one-stop place where we can all be a part of the investigation together, so we don't have to re-interview, we don't have to talk to the kids multiple times about crimes that have been committed against them or crimes that they've witnessed.
From medical exams to therapy and even a teddy bear room, the partnership helps victims of crimes find positive outcomes.
And the best part of this job is getting a conviction and knowing that the person who committed this crime will never commit a crime like this ever again.
Fighting for justice and fighting to help those who can't always help themselves. The job is never easy, but these detectives say they're proud of the work they do.
A lot of us, this is what we've wanted to do, this is what we want to do. We're not here because we have to be here, but we're in child crisis because we want to be.